The 1993 season began with uncertainty for the DePauw Tigers. The questions began with a young Tiger defense that returned only 2 starters from a squad that played gutsy, if not flashy, football in 1992. The outlook was brighter on offense, where senior quarterbacks Brian Lanceau and Brian Goodman, running backs Ronnie Herman and Sean Gardner, and a talented receiving corps all returned to lead a Tiger offense that promised to be one of the best in the league. With Lanceau starting at quarterback, DePauw opened its season September 11th at Blackstock Stadium against Hope College. The Tigers moved the ball well at times, Lanceau connecting with Bradley Hill for a 12-yard TD pass in the second quarter. The Tigers failed to score again in the second half and gave up 248 rushing yards to a powerful Hope running attack on their way to a 21-10 loss. The Tigers traveled to Jackson, Mississippi the next weekend for a matchup with Millsaps College. The Majors blocked 2 Matt Roussel punts and capitalized on 7 DePauw turnovers, while running back Kelvin Gladney scored 6 touchdowns in a 45-0 splattering of the Old Gold. Things didn't get any easier the next week as DePauw returned home to face nationally ranked Albion College. The Tiger defense was much improved from the previous 2 weeks, but the highly touted offense could muster only 177 yards and gave up 7 turnovers in the 28-0 loss. For the first time since 1977, the DePauw Tigers had started the season 0-3. A different Tiger team took the field as DePauw began the ICAC season against Hanover at home. Impressive performances by Gardner and Herman led the Old Gold to a 21-14 victory over the Panthers. The defense was again much improved, racking up 4 sacks of Hanover quarterback Scott Isfording, but more importantly, the win was the 80th career victory for head coach Nick Morozes, who moved ahead of the legendary Raymond Gaumy-Neal as DePauw's all-time winningest coach. Next up for DePauw was Rose Holman, an ICAC foe with a potent running game. Despite a good all-around effort from Sean Gardner and a late Brian Lanceau to Bradley Hill touchdown pass, turnovers and penalties put the Tigers on the losing end of a 25-23 score. An Old Gold Day matchup with Taylor was next for the Tigers, who scored 23 points and amassed 230 yards in an impressive fourth-quarter come-from-behind victory, the win provided by Ben Fingerhut's 39-yard field goal as time expired. But the real story of the game was the resurgence of the offense behind the direction of Lanceau, whose TD run was an important factor in DePauw's comeback, as were Gardner's 2 fourth-quarter scores in the 29-26 win. The Tigers next traveled to Manchester and appeared to pick up where they had left off the week before, marching 75 yards to score on the first possession of the game. But turnovers and sloppy tackling led to a second-half self-destruction, and despite a late Tiger comeback attempt, Manchester romped to a 28-19 win. It was the same story again the next week as DePauw traveled to the frozen tundra of Mack Stadium to take on the undefeated Anderson Ravens. Behind tailback Thomas Lee, the Ravens ran the ball at will against the Tigers, en route to a 35-3 shellacking of DePauw. DePauw returned home last week to take on a Franklin team that had shown a weakness to the pass. Lanceau replaced Goodman midway through the first half and sparked the Tigers to 3 touchdowns. But it would be the Franklin passing game that would decide the outcome in downing DePauw 40-18. Frustrated by their own mistakes, the Tigers left the field in anger and despair, knowing that only a win in the Monon Bell game could salvage what has been a disappointing season.